I'm just gonna hand hold this one. So, I'm removing this off my eyelids soon enough. It's just over the last 6 months, it's just gotten bigger. It's some and this soon. Anyway, so this comes up on video. But so I've got the ceiling lights. I don't have the lamps on. It's just the ceiling lights and this road light. And so, and I have this mirror right now as well. Yeah. Alright, so the difference between these two images is, in real life, it actually looks like there's less lighting here to my eyes. But the detail in the skin, there's more details, so I can see more details in the texture of the skin. The skin color looks more even, so there's less difference in the colors of the skin. It looks more even and smooth, more smooth and more even. Now that is related to something called dynamic range. I'll talk about the dynamic range and the lensing. So let's talk about dynamic range first. So dynamic range is like, if you have high dynamic range, you can capture more colors. That's all it means. And then if you have a high resolution camera with more megapixels, you can capture the details of all those colors. I don't know exactly what the resolution and dynamic range of the human eyes actually is, but I'm pretty sure they're going to model a lot of these, the way they design these professional cameras on that. That would make sense. Alright, so with low dynamic range, so the iPhones have small sensors and they have small lenses, so not much light comes in, and then a small sensor does, so the wavelengths, colors are just different wavelengths of photons bouncing around. So basically you can capture more details in with larger lenses and bigger sensors, more color detail, more detail in general. The same thing to with microphones. If you have a very high quality microphone, you capture more detail. More detail just means more wavelengths. Let's not get into my wavelengths. Well, I'll talk about that in my nerd science videos about wavelengths. So this actually, this difference in color here is the best example. So it appears that this is much darker here at the nose area. In real life, I can't actually see that there's much difference there in terms of the, how do I explain it? The geometry is there, so it's not flat. So the geometry is there, but the actual darkness and the image just on the nose, there's a very good example, is it doesn't actually exist. It's so there's darkness here and here. It's really pronounced on camera. It's very subtle in real life. So I think that's the best example. So because my eyes have higher dynamic range, they can pick up. So the light there, the reason it looks dark is there's less light. So it'll pick up more of this differences in color in the area where it's a bit darker and my eyes. So that's why I have so much more detail when I look at this in the mirror, and it doesn't appear as dark. So it's not flat, the geometry is there, meaning I can see the differences in geometry in the nose there. It's just that it's on camera it's dark, whereas in real life there's just it looks like different colors and it looks kind of smooth, and the geometry is like nice, something, I don't know how to describe it. So the other issue is the lenses. So I'll do an example maybe with my ear. Actually, I'll do an example with the ear first. So at the moment my ear is just enlarged and my nose is shrunk. That's not there anymore. And the same thing will now happen to my nose as I move this way towards the lens. My ear is tiny, my nose is huge, maintaining the same distance and the same tilt from the camera. The same thing happens to the top of the head. So the jaw is really exaggerated at the moment, and the top of the head's small. So those differences don't exist in real life, basically at all. And that's the other problem I have with this. So I want something with high dynamic range and a lens that's comparable to human eyes. And that's basically all I want. So the Nikon Z30 might be a good option to start with. I actually think this looks so much better compared to, so I got the road light on like a lower setting at the moment, and I don't have the lamps. So the lamps provide about 100 watts. Well, they're actually 6 or 8 LED watt, but they're designed some kind of way to be really nice on the eyes, and they point at the floor, and so kind of give you this sense of like natural daylight, a little bit in sunlight when you're indoors, because I can't have this window open, otherwise I just have natural daylight. So when I'm recording these videos, I'm trying to like maintain just the right kind of like, so if you're in the middle of the lens, you're gonna be okay with the lensing issue. However, when you move your face this way, your nose is like slightly closer to the camera compared to when it's here, and that proximity to it is actually going to enlarge it. So not only do you have to be right in the middle, you actually have to be kind of far away. In the middle, right in the middle and far away. It's so the lens is not right for this, basically is what I'm saying. Generally, my nose is much smaller in real life as well. It kind of depends. So, I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I think the Nikon Z30 is going to probably be just the best option for the moment. I don't really know. I'm going to go into the store, and take the road light and then just point it at my face, because these store lights are not quite right. Depends. Some stores are actually really good, but you can't take the phone out of the holder, so you can't see what it's like. So the stores that kind of have bad light, you can take them out of the holder. But I found one that has good light, and you can take it out of the holder, so I'm going there today. So I want to point this road light and have the camera, like it's got natural daylight in there in the store I'm going today. So I'm going to compare that iPhone with the iPhone I have at the moment to see what the difference is. I show my lips as well. So the issue with dynamic range is really good to talk about lips. So here, at this distance, I look like I barely have an upper lip, because it's kind of in the shadow. There's not enough light. So where in areas of shadow where there's not enough light, this camera can't capture the wavelengths of color bouncing off. So the light is hitting my face, bouncing off my face and going into the lens. So the sensor is too small, and the lens is not big enough, so that all those wavelengths of light bouncing off underneath my lip underneath my nose here are not being captured, and it's just basically showing something kind of darker under there. In reality, when I take a picture of myself with an SLR camera, my upper lip is about as big as my lower lip. So the reason I can see my lower lip and the reason it looks bigger here is because there's more light hitting it there. If I get very close to the camera, there you go. There's an upper lip there. They're still not as good as real life. Yeah, it's much better in real life. Alright. There you go. So that's what I'm dealing with cameras. It's very fun, interesting. I'm going to an eye surgeon to remove this thing on my eyelid because it's grown quite a lot, and I'll have to do both eyelids so they look the same, because they don't actually look the same now. And then there's a couple of things there, and a little thing on my lip here. And then there's stuff around my neck and torso as well.